you going, guys? And it's Justflight here. I hope you like the new intro. I got it not too long ago. It's brand new, and I should be putting them on most of my videos from now on. I just got to set up a stream deck so it's a little bit more user-friendly for me instead of having to click everything. But yes, welcome to another video on the BAE, not BEA. Unfortunately, I got that wrong in my last video. It's the BAE, British Aerospace. I don't know why I said BEA, but someone in the comments told me, and yeah, I'm sorry about that, guys. It's the BAE, British Aerospace 146, or commonly known as the ICAO, the B462, something like that. I think, for memory. Don't quote me on that. But that is what I have down in SimBrief, I believe. It's the B462, the British Aerospace 146. Now I have the British Aerospace 146 200, I believe, that Qantas Link used to fly. So there is a few different variants of this aircraft, as most people know that have it by now. We have the, I think it's the 100, the 100A. There is some RAF versions of the QC, I believe, and there's two different variants of the freighter or the cargo variants. Now, this aircraft does come with an extensive 260-page documentation for pretty much everything to do with this aircraft. So if you have the time to read, you can definitely dive into the most, well, you can get the most out of this aircraft, pretty much. 260 pages worth of information on the 146 Professional operations guide. It's also got a couple of photos of the other aircraft that they do have. So without further ado, Max, I will be showing you right now. Just let me sort something out here. Hang on a second. Where are you? Might just do another one there. I think we can do it here. Just need to grab something that I want. There it is. Alright, just transition that over for a second. So here is the 260 pages of which you can find the operation manual in the in the area that it is installed, which will be in your community folder under Justflight the AE146 Professional. So if you just look up Justflight in your community folder, once you've downloaded, this is where you'll find it. So as you can see, it's got all the different aircraft that they have. So you've got the Hawk Advanced Trainer, so two different levels of them. You've got the Warrior, and you've got the Turbo, and the Arrow that I fly as well. Then you've got like hundreds of pages, 200 pages worth of just absolute information about the aircraft, all the different systems that you're going to encounter, and just, yeah, an abundance of information. Get you going and to get you flying in the air, and just an introduction of the aircraft and what you get. Now, that, like I said, there's a whole bunch of variants of the aircraft, and here is some. Right now we have the 100, 200, and the 300 of all the dimensions. I believe whether or not it is the cargo variant or the normal passenger variant, none of them, like, they're all the same. So whether it's the 300 cargo variant, or the 200 cargo variant, or the 100A versus 100, they're all going to be exactly the same. The 300 is obviously the longest. Then you have all your weights there if you want to make up a different particular aircraft for you, like SimBrief and all that sort of stuff. And we also have performances that are all in here. So while I'm scrolling through these, take a note so you don't have to go look for them yourself, but you can just take a screenshot and off you go. I believe every single aircraft will have the 4 times AVCO locating Alpha Lima Foxtrot 502 Romeo-5 turbofans. And the thrust level there, you can see bypass ratio, length and diameter of the engines, and the dry weight of the engines. The fuel capacity of the aircraft. Now, I believe it's every single aircraft. There's not a there's only just the one. So every aircraft has either 2,580 imperial gallons or 3,096 US gallons, or 11,728 liters on board. I don't know if that includes the additional tanks that you can add to the aircraft. I don't know if any people would really want the additional tanks. It does take away a lot of space for passengers and cargo. I guess the additional tanks would be more for a cargo variant than a passenger variant, because yeah, you can carry a little bit less, not less weight. It's more a little bit more of a balanced weight, I guess, because passengers can vary from different sizes and shapes, and the aircraft can be all over the place when it comes to weight balancing. So the additional tanks would be more for the cargo variant, I believe, but I'm not 100% sure if that is calculated in there. Then we have all the liveries that they offer when you go and buy them. So we got the 100 variant, we got the 200 QC variant, which is the, I believe those two are the cargo variants, the QCs. Then you have the 300 variant and the 200 variant. So I am flying the 200 variant Quantum Sling throughout there. You have the 200 QT, which is the Ansett cargo and the TNT cargo. Now, QC and QT, I'm not 100% sure of the difference, but I know they're cargo variants of some sort. So the QT are definitely a cargo variant, so you can definitely see the difference in between the 200 and the 200 QT, only because the QT does not have any windows. It is literally a cargo variant, whereas the 200 is a passenger variant. So we have also the bigger version of that, the Australian Air Express still fly these today, right now. So they have the 300 QT variant. I believe they may fly another. I'm not 100% sure. I know the Ansett cargo flew the 200Q, and I flew on a few. Actually, I flew on EWM back in the day when it was up and going, out of Gove at one stage, Gove and Groot Island. So these aircraft does bring back some memories. And then we also have the Mark III and the Mark II for the RAF squadron. So if you're a military nut of the RAF, then you can fly the military variants of this aircraft as well. So basically, this has got a whole bunch of installation stuff. So anyways, let's get back to the aircraft right now, and we will have a look. Now, this video, I've already done a first look video, so this video is going to be somewhat the same, but this time we're actually going to go and dive into all the bits and pieces of the aircraft that will help you understand what you're looking at, because a lot of people jumping in this aircraft for the first time, some new, some veterans. I've flown this aircraft a few times on my channel on a different simulator, on Prepared, I believe. So some people may have seen that video. If you haven't, you can go and check it out. I'll put the link in the description when I find it myself. But yeah, I honestly don't remember this aircraft. I haven't actually watched the video. Now that aircraft is a little bit different to this one. But anyways, I don't know, it might have been an FSX or something like that. But I have flown this aircraft a few times now, and yeah. So without further ado, we're just going to go ahead and take a look at the big horse in the room, which we did have a look in on the first look of the aircraft. Now, I don't believe this was in the beta. I didn't get to fly the beta aircraft, unfortunately. But from what I've seen in some of the videos of the beta, they did not have the Justflight electronic bag, which I have now gone and done the setup for this aircraft. So the great thing about this is we have obviously the home page. You can turn it on and off via this button here. It doesn't load or anything. It doesn't have a load time. It's just. Then you have your QFP that you can load. I've already done a couple of flights, so it'll load up an old flight that I did. So straight off SimBrief right there. Then you can have a look at the output reset. and refresh. So if you want to start again, just reset the UFP and off you go. We also have the map here that you can have as a moving map if you don't particularly want like I have Navigraph on the right hand side, and I just don't think this map would really work very well. I guess if you're not zooming in or unlocking the map 24/7 or whatever, it just stays black way too long, in my opinion. So it looks like you've got to be zoomed at a particular zoom to actually see the map. So yeah, just sitting here waiting for the map to pop up, just, yeah, for me it's a little bit too long. The next is the Navigraph. Now, I was saying this in last video, hoping that this would be like always there, so I didn't have to like keep going through the authentication thing, and all right, I didn't have to. So yeah, you can go ahead and do that exact thing right there and check up Sydney. Whatever. So yeah, these are all your charts, and it's really good, real quick, real easy, so you can check your charts in soon. Now, another thing that you probably haven't noticed is you can click on the tablet, and you can change it to wherever you want, if you're in VR or whatever. Angle it your liking as well. I don't think you can like move it any further left or right or whatever, but that's it. So the next thing you have a look at is the aircraft page. So you can get all your information from your QFP. This one here, I've got the Qantas computer flight program from Simbrief downloaded on here. You can have Lido or whatever one you want, it'll come in here. And then you put all your little weights and stuff. So obviously I needed like 6,500 fuel or whatever, but I already had some fuel there, so I just leave it. You can change the passengers. I think I had 100. I think I had 84 on board. Did okay there. And then you can choose your weights and all that sort of stuff based on your flight. So it's really cool. And then you got all your announcements and stuff. And I'm sitting in cold and dark start because I'm going to do a cold and dark start for you as well, which will be the video after this one. So yeah, that's that. The next one is your notes. So you can go ahead and type all your lovely notes here. So taxiway clearances, your H.O.T.A.S codes and all that sort of stuff. Go here, or anything that you need. Maybe your radar altimeter or your decision height or something like that that you have to remember. Maybe a runway heading or a VOR frequency. If you're doing VOR to VOR, maybe put on all your VORs in here because you're not going to have a nifty little FMC or a FMS or MCU, whatever you call it, to get you to where you got to go. So you're going to have to say, right, I have to travel on this route to this VOR, and then I've got to go from this VOR to this VOR, but I'm not going to pick this VOR up until 30 minutes out. So you might have to put in a time or whatever. So maybe I have to depart VOR Alpha, for example, on a bearing of 277 for 45 minutes. And I just got to keep flying 277 for 45 minutes until I reach the VOR that I want. So it's things like that. So you can go ahead and type it in here, just so you've kind of got a little gist of how you're going to do it. Obviously, VORs aren't going to be that hard to find. You can find them on Navigraph, and you can find them on charts all around the world. Settings, you can have your 24-hour clock here. I've got it set for the 16:50 Zulu right now. So yes, it is 2 o'clock in the morning, almost 3 a.m. So yeah, I'm doing this at 3 a.m. for you guys. You got your brightness here, but you also have a brightness up on the top here. So if I go to here, you can see the brightness up there as well. I believe you can see the brightness. No, you can only see the brightness there. You'll probably be on this page 24/7 most of the time. We haven't got there yet. And then we have the theme. I like the blue theme, but you have black and white theme, you got a blue and white theme, you've got a white and white theme, black theme, and a bluish theme. I like this one because it reminds me of the A320. Right, so that's those settings. The other settings that you just seen that popped up here, we have sync altimeters. Now that will sync all 3 altimeters, actually 4 altimeters technically. So you have your altimeter 1 there, you have altimeter 2, you can't really see my mouse. Oh yeah, you can. You have 2 altimeters. You also have a third one over here on the Bhf side, and you also have your other one here, which I think syncs, and that's not an altimeter, that is your pressurization gauge, which we'll get to in a minute. So this video is going to be quite long. We're just going to go through every single piece of the aircraft. So we have a TCAS BSI, which is this digital readout here. If we go ahead and change it, you'll just be given your just standard VSI that you would see in every other aircraft. Now, does it fit for you? I prefer the digital one because it's more accurate. This one is very laggy. So if you're looking to ascend or descend and you're trying not to or whatever, this will lag just like any other aircraft. Whereas the other one just seems a little bit more, when it's turned on, obviously, just a little bit more accurate. State saving and enabled. So if you leave the aircraft with the engines running and all that sort of stuff, and you have the switches, like I have a Bravo throttle quadrant, you leave all the switches on in the right positions and all that sort of stuff. State saving will save the aircraft in the state that it is in. I left the aircraft in cold and dark state, so state saving has kept it in cold and dark state for me. Pilot callouts, you're going to love those things. They are just so good. Pilot cabin announcements and FMS navigation, so it is an FMS in this aircraft. You can go ahead and fully remove that FMS and say, I don't want it. So there it goes. It is a go on. We're good. No FMS right there. You can bring it back. Okay, what I did not notice though, get rid of that FMS. We have an extra radio up here, or am I just not looking? The ADF's just there, but does it like just move it down? Yeah, okay, it's moved. So where does the ADF go then? ADF goes down here? Yeah, the ADF goes down there. So if we move it up, it goes up the top there again. So yeah, it's gone from there. Okay, so the ADF is moved. So yeah, I'll keep that on. We also have Cockpit Pilots. So over here on the right hand side, we'll have a lovely little pilot that will join us if you want. The interior cabin is pretty dang cool. So if you want the interior cabin, you can go through this invisible door right here, and voila, there is an interior cabin. Not overly crash hot, but you can get your decently some wing views that I've been doing for some of my flights that I have set up. You can go ahead and get rid of the cabin if you wish, and this is what it looked like. Go back. There is no cabin. It is just a hollow shell. So yeah, really up to you if you want that. I prefer the cabin on. That's just my personal opinion. Now this is where I was talking about the auxiliary tanks. Now the auxiliary tanks, being that I have 84 people on board, one cargo, and all the fuel that I already have, if I do this, it gives me some extra fuel. But it also pushes me well and truly up in the weight. Now, do I really need the additional tanks? Does it show it down here? I'm not 100% sure if it does. So yeah, I'm not going to bother about the additional tanks for myself. Also, ground idle. Now, I'm not 100% sure what that does or what it means. Cabin ambient sounds and auto cabin lighting. So the lights will probably be automatic, obviously, when you're in and around ducks. Apart from that, yeah, you can go ahead and turn the lights off. And do it as realistic as possible. So that's the your EFB. Right. So real quickly, to the left, we have a forward floor air. So that is full. So you don't really need those. That's just your air conditioners. This is a sun visor that you can flip and drag around to the front. Bring it back. Your oxygen, if you do the checklist, and you'll see the oxygen. Right, I need to put my hat on because this actually, there is a little way to get into this little panel. But I with this. If I put my little headset on, I can actually like weave around a little bit and show you what's what. Ooh, there we go. So underneath here, we can actually remove this by clicking there. It's like just a little hand rest. Under here is your lights for the dashboard, your panel lights, so panel lights all the way up to here, and your floodlights all the way up to there as well. And then up here is all your radios, so if you need to go to radio 2 or radio 3, you can. HF, and you've got a few other volume markers and all that sort of stuff there too. Moving around to the front, we have a compass. So you can have a slave, DG, compass slave, that sort of stuff there. Not 100% sure what that stuff is right there. Oh, okay, cool. So it looks like, oh, so we can completely get rid of it. So there you go. If you want to get rid of the tablet, you just press that little button right there, which is not really a button, which makes me wonder, is there one on the other side there? There it is. Wow, okay guys, so if you wanted to be an FO in this aircraft, per se, so you can go down to here, you'll see these little sketch pad here, and boom, you can turn it off. So if you wanted to be a first officer instead of a captain, you have everything on the right-hand side for you right now. Obviously, if you're in a multi-role sort of thing, that is brilliant. How to get that going. So if you're in a multi-role situation, you can have that going. So that's really good. I did not know that, and I wasn't expecting to actually put that in. So yeah, if you want to get rid of your tablet, you just click on that little scratch pad at the back, and you'll have the scratch pad on either side. Now that is just brilliant. Yeah, that's pretty dang cool. So I'm actually going to do a probably take a screenshot for this page and show both pads on both sides. Alright, so the next thing, there basically is 6 instruments at the front that you really need. You've got your clock, your timepiece, you've got your speed, which is right there. Now, this is really hard to read for some people that have never actually seen one of these before. You go right around to your normal, and then under here, this one is your max speed. So, yeah, just because you're doing 250 knots doesn't mean you're actually doing 250 knots. You got to look up here. I could be doing 250 knots, but it might say 0.75, which would be 7, like Mark 7.5 or something like that. Your main VSR, main attitude indicator. Oh, sorry, main attitude indicator. You look over to the right, it actually has like a little, which I think is going to be amazing. You got your secondary, and then right next to it, you have your altitude, and you have another altitude here. Now, I always thought that that would be better as the normal, and that would be the backup, but that one is actually a digital readout, which is yeah, either one. Putting them both together is not too bad either. Down here, you have your DME, so your ADF or VLR, so you got VL1 or VL2, and you can also swap the ADF or whatever you need it to do. You also have your directional indicator, so your HSI there, and that can also do VOR, do ILSs, or it can do LNAV, which we'll get into LNAV. It's called RNAV in this episode. HSI RNAV, but we'll get that into the future. I have done a flight already, so get ready for one of those tutorials coming out. I'll tell you how to set the FMS up and get on the flight with that. Underneath here, I haven't really used any of these. It's just normal and ATT normal, not too sure. So you got yellow and green brake pressure as well. So if you need to check your checklist, you have your brake pressure just behind the thing. And you'll have your Cat 2 logo. So this aircraft can only do Cat 2, not Cat 3. So yeah, just be mindful of that. Then you'll have all your instruments. Now, all these instruments are very daunting. Just looking at all these instruments, but they are actually engine 1, engine 2, 3, and 4. Now you start 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't know why you start the right-hand side. It's probably similar to the Boeing. The right-hand side has some sort of hydraulic thing, blah, 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 bullshit, to get everything started properly. So yeah, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And sometimes you can do 4, 2, 3, and 1. I have seen in the ansets, but yeah, it's 4, 3, 2, and 1 on the checklist. So that's it there. So you're going to pay particular attention to the N1 here. So that's your N1 RPM there. So when it gets to 10, then you choose fuel and off you go. Then it's your TGT. Then you have N2, and you have your FF. Down below, you have your fuels. And I did miss up the top, your oil quantity for each one, and your oil pressure, and your oil temperature for each one. So the pressure's on the right, and the temperature's on the left, and your oil quantity up the top. Now, I believe in the future, state saving, like a Piper Arrow or the Warrior, you'll be able to refill the oil quantity in the future. Yeah. All right, moving along to the right-hand side. I don't know what the roll spur is, but there's four there. Maybe something to do with the flaps. Not too sure. I may have to go and have a look at the 260-page document, and I'll find out myself. But yeah, I see it get up to about 1, and it stays stable while I'm flying, so it's got something to do with the your ailerons and spoilers. So your flaps, 18 degrees, 24, 30, and 33. So you normally take off at around 18 degrees, 24 on a short runway maybe, and 30 to 33 for landing. This big lovely panel right here with all these lovely blacked out lights here, that is your, yeah, you know what it is, your annunciator panel. Don't be too daunted that it has a lot. Remember, there's 4 engines. So, yeah, I was like, ooh, there's a lot of things that can go wrong with this aircraft. But no, there's 4 engines, so they need 4 different strips. So obviously, you'll only see 1 strip if it had 1 engine. So yeah, it's not as daunting as you think. You're like, oh, all these red lights have popped up. But no, there's 4 engines, so there's a lot of lights. All right, on the right-hand side, a little bit further, you got your landing gear up and down, and the lights for the landing gear right there. I couldn't find it for a little while, but there's 3 of them. 1, 2, and 3. So there you go. GPWS, flap warning override, which is just there. Your step approach, which I believe is pretty cool. I did not see that. So I might have a look into that a little bit more. I was looking for that at some stage. Okay. Push, inhibit, stall, ident. So if you're stalling, I think. HSI, so you pretty much come back over and popping in, all that sort of stuff. You're also, these lights up here is also like an autopilot sort of light. So you'll have your altitude, your VOL log, and all that sort of stuff. So if you got your autopilot turned on, you can have a look at down there, over here, and up on top. Then there's also some lights over there, which is something else again, alt alert. I think I've got some more over here. Again, it's all stuff that you would have seen, so air brake, heading, altitude, all that sort of stuff. So you'll see that when you turn the autopilots on. Everything's pretty much exactly the same. Over here, there's a little bit different here. This is the cabin pressure that will also correspond to the top here. Outside air temperature, a O80. Some more radio stuff over there. Your telly, yeah, main nose wheel steering or telehandler. I can't remember what they call it. Telehandle, something like that. Something I can't remember what they call them in Boeing. Something. Over here, we've got the pack supply and the main supply of oxygen. So you're going to starve to death of oxygen. All right, down here we have 2 FM S's. If you click the yeah, no, you can't. Both of these are synced, so you can't split them. I don't know if you can desplit them. This lovely little screen in the middle is your wax or X, wax. That is your weather radar. So you also have a map. So that is map. That is CYC. I don't know what that is. That is your radar. And that is standby, and that is off. By default, it is on 0, but you need it at 15 degrees with radar on when you get ready to go. Terrain display, don't know if that actually works yet, so terrain display button down there. You have your VHF 2 and VHF 1 on that side. Down here, you have your speed brake, your flaps, 1, 2, 3, and 4 engines, all your trimmings, so your alt trim, your rudder, and your nose, your elevator trim, aileron trim. The panel light push dim on config check, so that's a config check that I've been looking for yonks. I'm glad I did this video because I'm actually learning some stuff myself. Your ADF panel, so if you want to set your ADF, there you go. Then you have your ADF turned on there, ANT for something else, and then test if you've got to test the ADF. So that is actually ADF 2, which is that side, and ADF 1. So you actually have 2 ADFs, which is really cool. On the left-hand side is some more, so you get your dampener, your autopilot, so you don't have to go all the way up here. This one, you just lean down and there it is. This little lovely box just here is your your transponder, not TACAN, transponder system, which you'll use to set your transponder, which you'll leave on 1200 for VFR. And if that's in, you'll get given a code, or get given a code mid-air. Brake temperature, pretty much self-explanatory. It tells you how cold or hot your brakes are. And yeah, you can set all your brakes and maximum. So land, all that sort of stuff. This little slider changes as the aircraft secure. You can change it yourself, or it will change automatically when the cabin is secure. We've got some more lights for the console, so this will do the aft console and the forward console, and it'll also do the floodlight. So there is lights all over this aircraft. Okay, now going up to the top, we have the digital Vhf Nav. So a Vhf Nav, I think this would be the third VHF. No, I'm not too sure. Not the radio, I know that much, but there is 3 radios though. I haven't found the third radio yet. But anyways, so this is a digital readout for the VHF, where you'll put your VORs or your ILS frequencies in. Yes, this aircraft does support ILS, but it does not automatically land the aircraft. You still have to, I'm not even sure if it actually follows the ILS. But there's no auto land, so you definitely want to be pulling the autopilot 500 feet before the, or 1,000 feet before the runway. And if you're like me, I start pulling it about 5,000 feet up in the air and glide on. I'm in as best I can. But yeah, so that is when you turn it on, you turn on the middle, and then you have your switch button there to switch the frequencies over. You got your active and your standby. You can turn it on and hold, override, and dim. And then you'll see all the different testings stuff like that. Set the ILS up, test it, whatever. Okay, so Autopilot here, I'm going to have to do a bit more reading on the Autopilot, but the basics that I know is altitude, your vertical speed, Mach hold, VNav, I don't know if it works at the moment, LNav does, heading does, your VL, which is your feed lock, so VOR lock. I was actually looking like for VOR, but it's not there, actually VL. Backtrack, turbulence, don't know what turbulence is, I'm going to have to read that lovely document again. Yeah, so that's that. Now, the course knobs here is a nav 1 course and your nav 2. Nav course 1 will be here. Nav course 2 will be there. I don't know. So that's 1, and that's 2. Yeah, so Pilot 2 will have the course 2 knob and Pilot 1. So the captain will have the left-hand knob and the FO will have the second. Okay, so they are not synced. If you need to sync them, and I suggest you do, especially if you're taking off or landing. So, for example, the runway in Sydney for 16 right and 16 left is 155. You would get ready, even if you're landing or taking off, you would set both the courses and heading to that location. Now, I have not seen, you probably noticed already, but there is a heading knob there, but there is no indication, like 155 or whatever, indication of this heading knob. The only thing that you get is this little white caret right here. I'll just turn that. Right there, just past the 9, there's a little white caret there. That is the only thing that tells you your heading. There's no numbers like the course up here, so you've got to be very careful. I would set that if that's in, say, turn to a heading of 090, I would set the course and use the course if you can. So do a rough guesstimate, get turning, then set your course up, and then line the heading bug to the course. Right. So just like that, and just have the yellow line go between the caret, so you're going in the right heading. But there's nothing there to tell you what you're actually doing. Alright, over here is your altitude. It is blacked out because the aircraft's turned off, but that is the altitude select there. And the altitude arm. Now that is kind of like a way of helping you. Once you get that level, it will switch over to altitude mode. So it's kind of like a climbing altitude sort of one. And then on the right-hand side, you'll have your Vhf navigation for your VOR side. So if your pilot monitor, if you decide to fly on this side with this setup, like I was talking about before, you can use the knob there. But you'll have to change. Whereas this one has 2 frequencies that you can swap around. This one only has one. So you'd have to be very quickly at changing a few different bits and pieces there, which is no problem. So changing from VOR to VOR from here, I would suggest selecting heading, go on heading mode, stay going the same heading, because as soon as you change this, the aircraft's going to want to do whatever the hell it's going to want to do. That's, yeah, just be careful on that. Alright, so basically we've done everything down here. Now we're going to have a look at the top. I don't want to do head mode, otherwise it's just painful. Anyways, so right at the back here is all the circuit breakers, but you're not going to be able to touch any of those. Anyways, oh, there's a light there. I'll have a look at what that is later. But anyways, you aren't going to be doing anything with those circuit breakers. They are inert. Anyways, we have here the miscellaneous panel, which is master panel also. So everything masters. So your avionics, your master autopilot, your dampeners 1 and 2, your ground ignition, A and B, right there. Your brake fans, so the brakes, the fans on your wheels. So you'll need to turn those on, auto or on when they are hot. Any skid and lifts spoilers, so you'll need all of those as well. Coming down to hydraulics here, pretty self-explanatory. Obviously, you need hydraulics to run most of the aircraft. If you're wondering why you can't close your front door or your stairs, because you've got your AC pumped and your DC pump turned off, so you'll need to turn your DC and AC pump on to raise your stairs up if you've got that, which we'll show you when some more cold and dark starts. Fuel tanks. We have our fuel tanks here. Got your standard fuel tank, cross feed, auto feed, or whatever it is. Your left standby pump and right standby pump, and most of these are actually on. Your left outer and left inner, right inner, and right outer pumps are off by default when you come into the aircraft for the first time, or in cold and dark state. So, yeah. On to the next one, you got electronics. So this is where all your batteries, your generators, so everything here that needs to be turned on for power. Electronic panel. Moving up to our fire panel, it's self-explanatory. You just read there, twist the handles, pull it out, and it just gets rid of the fire in the aircraft. And this aircraft will catch on fire if you stuff up. So yeah, but I think you'll get a crash screen before it happens like that. So don't even think about trying to pull those. I guess if you turn crashes off, you may get a fire. Practice that, but yeah, if you do end up causing fire to the aircraft, it's just going to go black screen. You crash the aircraft. You have to start again. So really, I don't know what these are for. Just for looks and shows, but they do work. The next is your APU. So start the APU, wait for it to go up, and off you go. APU also has a generator down here in the electric. So you want to look for APU gen. There it is next to galley. Your generators 1 and 4. Your engines. This is where your engines start up. So you have your engine master switch. You have your engine power. Continuous ignition. Alpha and Bravo. You have your engine start switch, monitor, run and start, and your flight start. So you want to start the aircraft. Try and restart the aircraft. Next is ice protection. Lovely ice protection. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, any else. Pretty self-explanatory. Next is your pressurization. Pretty much I haven't done any reading on the pressurization. All I know is when you turn it on, there is a mode switch here. It says automatic. I just leave it alone. Because if you stuff around with this, you will end up with hypoxia, blackout, and crash. So yeah, don't touch that until you have read a little bit about it. I definitely haven't touched it. Don't want to just yet. Some more ice protection here. So you have your heat for your pitos, your wind screens, all that sort of stuff. That's some more ice protection for your detect ice, tail, anti-ice, and outer wing So there's more there for you to have a look, gaze at. So all your lights are up on the right-hand side here. So you have your lights and notices. So you have your, go to the FO position so we can see a little bit better. Might be able to get in. There we go. Okay, so we have lights and notices. So we've got entry, which is basically the cab. The cockpit view, no, the cockpit light, so this big giant light right here. Ooh, that light right there blinds you, basically. So, your wing lights, logo lights, your smoke lights. Oh, next weekend for the PMGG, it just showed up on my so it looks like I'll be doing some more streams for you next week. Frick yeah, let's do it. Okay, so we got wing lights, we got logo lights, we got no on smoking lights, SMKG. Don't know what that is. I have to read it. I don't think I'm pretty sure it's not smoking. Pretty sure you're allowed to smoke on these aircraft in back. Cabin emergency lights. So there is 2 emergency lights. The other one is down here. So there is a emergency lights there. So you the flight deck, and then you also have the cabin emergency lights. Oh, there it goes, popped up again. PMDG coming out next week, and maybe. We got beacon lights and all that sort of stuff. Air conditionings. So your flight deck fan. So these are the air conditioners. They are very, very loud in the aircraft. So yeah. The next one is your packs. You're going to need to remember where they are because you're going to have to turn them on and off when you're flying. Well, when you take off. Then your APU air. You're going to have to remember where they are because you have to turn that on and off when you're flying or getting up in the air. And you'll have to remember where the engine air is. Some people turn these on in the Boeings prior to takeoff, but in this aircraft, you don't actually turn them on until you're passing 10,000 feet or whatever it is after you've done your after takeoff checklists. Annunciator panel. I was looking for this for a yonks. Basically, it's going to turn all these lovely little lights on for you to so it's the annunciator test for the heads-up display. Moving down the front of the aircraft is the rest of the lights. We have the fasten seatbelt sight, ding ding. We have the windscreen wipers, fast and slow if it's raining. And we have the landing lights and the taxi lights right there. The runway exit lights, and like I said, the flight deck emergency lights. Oopsies. And just some more buttons and knobs to get to watch the screen. Maybe it's turned on. I don't know. So, yeah, and the rain repellent. I don't know if that actually works or not. Then we have some glare shields and all that. That little light, that little knob there does this thing here. But anyways, in here is nothing, but that's where you'd have all the checklists for the aircraft. Okay. One little instrument that not many people really care about, and it is actually very important, is this little thing here, the yellow ball and the black ball. Okay, so what you need to do, when you're sitting in the aircraft, especially if you're in VL1, just glance over. Now, if you can see that yellow ball, you're in the wrong position. So, basically, you want to be able to get that black ball. Like that, so. So you can't see that yellow ball. Something like that, anyways. I'm not in VR, so I don't care. But yeah, if you're wondering what that is, that's what it is. Once you line that up perfectly, yeah, that is where you go. Apples up. Like it, because I sit back in my chair a bit. So yeah. Anyways, that is not it. There is a... I have not found how to turn these lights on yet. There is some more lights that you can turn on here, and you can... so when you can figure out how to turn those lights on, let me know. Because I have not figured out how to turn those on. I'll probably figure it out before you guys even tell me. But that's okay. And like I said, you can get rid of the armrests there and get rid of the secondary tablet, which is really, really good. So anyways, thanks for watching the video. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to park it there. Yeah, so thanks for watching it. I'll link the description. I'll link down in the description below where you can buy the aircraft. So link to the aircraft. And yeah, where you can get it at Justflight. Apart from that, there will be another video coming out on the cold and dark starts, and another video on the FS, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I'm going to do a photo like that to say, look, this is the FO side. Just so you know that the photo's there, and you can do it on this particular aircraft if you want to do the FO side. Thank you very much, guys, for watching, and until next video, see you later, and peace.